Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups, and I have something interesting here today. This just kind of showed up in a box, and I opened it up, and I thought, who sent me a transmitter? And it was the good folks at HobbyKing. I believe Bartram was the person responsible for this. I've never seen this thing before. I've never even heard of it, but I did find a couple of things interesting, and I thought I would share it with you. The first thing I found interesting was this screen. Let's fire it up. Got to push both these buttons. So it has a nice audio system going here, but check it out. It is a color screen, and it's not like most screens, which are down low. It's in the middle. Now, I'd prefer to have it up a little higher up in the top, but this is a definite step in the right direction. So it wants all my switches up, up, up. Hear it? Pretty awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is get a little close to the screen so you can see what we see, or what I see. And so what we have is something I haven't seen before. Let's talk about the specs real fast. It is a 2.4 AFHDS with automatic frequency hopping, compatible with TGY AFHDS receivers. It has real-time telemetry, monitor, signal strength, receiver voltage, flight pack voltage, RPM and temp, audio and visual warnings when limits are exceeded. That's awesome. 3.5-inch 240 by 400 pixel color high contrast LCD screen. Then there's a lot of other things here that we'll look at. It has one thing to note, 20 model memory. So I believe this retails right around $170. So this could be and should be considered an entry-level transmitter. So that's another feature. Look how skinny it is. It actually feels pretty great in the hand. And I'm sure it doesn't have the gimbals on it like a high-end transmitter, but you know, there's nothing wrong or terrible with these things. They feel pretty good, actually. And I was showing this to Matt Gunn via video chat, and he said, does it feel plasticky? I said, no, man, it is plastic, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels pretty nice. So this is just straight my the way I feel about this radio, just getting it in a box and not expecting it. So some functions include flight conditions, linear curve mixing, channel throttle delays, logic switches, dual rates, expo, endpoint adjustment, blah, blah, blah. There's more, and we're going to look at that in just a second. And then it's a 10 channel, and I'm looking for anything else on the spec sheet that you might find interesting. It does have a low voltage warning, pretty awesome. It does have an SD slot. And it has a 1700 LiPo, check it out, back here. So I don't know how long it'll last. I know it showed up charged about a week ago, and I haven't touched it, but then again, I haven't been flying with it either. Here's a couple of cool features. See these knobs right here? You push them in and they pop out, so you could adjust them. And then when you're done, you pop them back in and they're out of the way. That's pretty swanky. Another thing that's interesting is the switches are not like back here, and they're in the front, and where you can actually look at the labels, and so you know where they're at. Also, the right side and the left side mimic each other. So for me, that's good. And then it also has sliders right here on the side. Now let's see. This is a pure slider, and that there's no stopping point. In the middle, I can tell where the middle is. And this is the same way. So the sliders are the same. They're pretty standard. Plus, interesting, they have you can slide it from the back or the front. That's pretty cool. And so the most interesting thing about this, because I was just having a conversation about screens and transmitters. And so A, it's a touch screen. That's completely new for me, and then B, it also is a color screen. So let's say that if you can see it, there's an airplane. We touch it, and so there's your aircraft, right? So if you want to modify that and put on 2 ailerons, spoilers, flaps, check it, And so now all these things are added, and not only are they added, they tell you your channel numbers. So you know that channel 1, channel 6, channel 5. So you visually have a way to tell where all your servos and channels are living, which is awesome. Okay, so do you want to reset to default? So if you don't like it, you can always reset it back. And then we're going to go back to the home page. And so whenever you go to trim out something, you go to the trim screen, so you get a visual on your trim if you need it. If you're in the air, you certainly don't need it. But when you're setting up a bird, this is pretty awesome. Automatically jumps into that. And then we have our settings right here. So this is very iPhone, iPad-like. So you can click on something and reverse your channels. Oh, jump back. And what else is cool? So here's our trim. We just saw that when it automatically took us into that. And Aux Channels. So you want to do an Aux 1. You can give it a name. I like that. Control. And then, this is very awesome. You can pick which switch you want to control it. So I want to switch A. And then we have down, middle, up. I like it. I'm going back. So now that's chosen. Pretty intuitive. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't say it's not intuitive. I can tell you this. I have looked at the manual, but I haven't really gone through it and read it thoroughly. I just was flipping through. The thing I was checking on, it has a USB out on the back. And I was curious. I'm really hoping for a new phase of radio where I can set up airplanes through my computer through the USB. Another thing to note, I'm not going to unplug it, but right here, the green spot, if you can see it, that's where an SD card goes. So you could save models on that SD card, or you could move models to the SD cards. See, new. It's warning me. I accidentally hit a button there. And what else? Also at the bottom here, you have these dots, and these take you to, these denote which page you're on, so you can slide the screen and look at other things. So let's look at airplane structure. There's that. Modify. Back. Now we're just cruising around. We're just going to look around. Logic switches. LS1, LS2, and or X or none. So pretty intelligent design on how to get in here and modify logic switches and switches in general. Timers, multi-purpose timer, 1, 2. So you can have multiple timers depending on what you needed, what the application was. Oh, check it out. This is always handy. Whenever I'm programming something and I'm like, what channel is it on? I always go to this page to figure it out, especially on switches, because when you're on a switch and you have, if you have a switch on a window, you can go, okay, that's on channel 5. All right. So now, let's jump back out of there. There's another interesting thing. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. Well, let's go to page 3 and see what we have there. System, RX setup. There's your fail-safe and all that. So the cool part is everything's pretty easily found. Oh, there is one thing I want to show you. So here you can control backlight. Actually, so some of these things are controlled by, look at that, it's like a dial. So you drag it and turn it up. So I'm going to turn it all the way up, which I'm sure uses, okay. So I guess that's an audio signal. Oh, my battery's low, check it out. So it tells you the transmitter battery. And then it also, if I had a receiver, it would tell me the receiver strength up here too. Well, I guess now that we've, I'm going to show you one more thing. This is kind of annoying. Whatever it is you're doing, if you don't understand what it is, there is a question mark up here. You click that and it tells you everything about that function. So you don't need the manual in the field. The manual is in the transmitter. Awesome. All right, so that is the new Turnigy TGY-i10, $170. That warning will definitely get your attention. I'm Jim Graham with RCGroups. It's pretty cool.